Well, hi, I'm just going to show you how to draw hands real quick. So yeah, we're going to do a stroke there, but actually that's not good. So sometimes I like to start out with a circle and then draw the thumb. I don't usually record my voice and use my voice in videos, so this is a new and interesting experience. So sometimes hands can look better or worse depending on just how I draw that day. Every day, something in how I draw changes. So yeah, we're gonna erase the circle. We kind of want a little bit of, roundness in the tip of the fingers. So we don't want it to be a square, because if you had square top fingers, that would look kind of strange. But I have a hard time drawing entirely round fingers, and again, that's not always how it is. Sometimes it does in fact look like this. So yeah, I'm drawing a fist now. Drawing a fist is probably one of the simplest things to draw on a hand. So you just kind of make a circle, you can, and then you just kind of make little stubs and then make a little triangle on the side. And sometimes on my hands I like to draw gloves. I don't always do this, but it's fun sometimes. Also, the places where the little circles and the gloves are, or the holes, are where the knuckles are, so you can see that. Okay, now I'm drawing another hand. So this is kind of like the first one we drew, but if you just turned it around. Something that you have to do as an artist sometimes is to imagine the positions. Of course, you can use a reference, which I'll do later, but when you don't feel like using a reference and you just want to draw a hand and you don't care, then you just kind of go for it. Also, as you can see in the thumb, it's not just a short finger. It also has that big thing of skin attached to it. So I'm making it so you can kind of see that. And there are also lines on your hands. I don't know if you might not want to draw all the hands, especially if you're not going full on realistic. You might just want to draw like one of the lines. Okay, now I'm gonna try using a reference. So we're gonna look up hands. Right here I'm having kind of a brain fart. This just kind of happens to me where I forget what I was gonna do. And this one lasted quite a while, so okay, here we go. So yeah, search up hands, go to images, and you're gonna see all these pictures of hands. So you want to click on one. That's the most straightforward one I could find, that's like what we drew earlier. And so you want to screenshot it And so now we want to go back to the drawing app. I use Procreate. And so I want to make a new one because we already used a lot of space on that old one. So I'm gonna just put it in the top left corner and let it sit there as reference so I can kind of see how everything's coming along. And sometimes actually most of the time things take many tries to get right. So the thumb was just immediately easy for me, but as you can see in later in the video, it might be harder for me and take more tries. Especially on something I'm getting into later. So here I made kind of a rounder fingertip, not for all of them, of course. And this part is kind of obvious, but you want to add spaces in between, especially for this reference. Okay, so now we're coming down. So if you look at the reference, you can see that there's a little bit of a bump there. It doesn't just go straight down, it kind of makes a thing. And again, the creases. Don't forget the creases. There's a crease in the real hand. So yeah, I'm just tracing that for you. And again, a quick reminder how there's that bit of skin there. You always gotta draw that. Unless you don't want to, and that's not just what you do. Also, one more thing is, there's kind of a mountain. You can imagine it as a mountain, like how so the first finger is lower, the second finger is higher, the third finger is almost the same length, and the last finger goes down, so you can see it's kind of like a mountain. And then you just draw the wrist. And one more thing, there's those little things down there, so your hand isn't just, like, it comes up a little, it's not flat, so there's a little place on your hand where it bulges out, so you want to draw that part. I traced it over there in red. Okay, now I'm going to draw a finger, and to be honest, this looks quite bad, but this is just to show you how to draw a fingernail, so it's straightforward. You just go up a little and come down. It's like making a little very thin oval, maybe. And then again, I was going for realistic here, so I put a couple of lines there to mark the knuckles. Because if you take a moment to look at your real hand, there are little wrinkles where your finger bends. Okay, now we're going to draw a harder kind of hand. So this is going to be difficult for pretty much anyone unless you've been drawing for years and entirely mastered the skill. So yeah, I'm just taking another screenshot and going back to the app. I have many drawings here. They're not always the most regular, but yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna start on the pointer or index finger. That's usually what I start with for one of these because it's kind of the thing that stands out to me first in this picture. And sometimes I have trouble drawing the little parts where the finger bends, as you can see here. So this is the hand where I had to redo a lot of things. And the reason why I'm using past tense is because I am voicing this over. It's a voiceover. So, yeah. And so, the first one is kind of difficult because it sets up the entire where everything's going to be. Then you do the second finger, not too hard. It's kind of more straight. Then the third finger, the pinky, looks kind of awkward, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's just forget about it. And then the thumb is right next to the pointer finger, and we can't forget about the thumb. So we're just going to draw it right there, overlapping the pinky for the most part, and I think that's a good thing because now you can't see my horrible pinky as well because I'm going to erase it. And, okay, so you want to come down. It has that little kind of thing coming down there. It's not just the thumb and then straight down. You want to put kind of a corner to it. And then the second part, not too straight either. You want to have a little bit of a curve there, corner. I don't know what to call it. And so now I'm going to outline for you what I mean by corner on the hand there. And then, of course, there's that other one there. And another tactic I use sometimes to figure out where everything is when I draw hands from scratch without a reference. Of course, you shouldn't be afraid to use a reference. It's how most artists get where they are. So, again, don't be afraid. And so, again, I'm going to bring up how the tips of your fingers are round. They are indeed round. Okay, so now I'm finally deciding to erase it. Erase the pinky that's getting overlapped. Okay, so this hand looks pretty good. I mean, it's not A+ perfect, but yeah. By the way, I am a beginner. I only started really trying to draw things well around 6 months ago. So that is the end of the video. Goodbye, everybody.